In the pregame show, there sure has been a lot of hand-wringing going on given the fact that Portland accomplished its goal of splitting the first two.
Yeah, the Suns are 32-9 on their home court, and you can see right there, there's round one, game two, and it was such a devastating loss for the Blazers as far as 29 points go. Everybody on the Phoenix side said the rest of this series will be easy. It's the Blazers immediately have to get that thought out of the Phoenix mind, and they can only do that with good, hard, physical basketball, and that will make the crowd really into it.
You saw the officiating crew tonight: Joe DeRosa, Pat Frayer, Bill Kennedy. Game 3 is underway from Portland. The opening tip, Marcus Camby wins it back to Andre Miller.
And once again, Grant Hill will be on him. And you would expect that after game 2.
Obviously, try to get Rudy Fernandez involved early. Rudy to Nick Batum, offensive foul. Rudy a little out of control, ran down Amari Stoudemire. Portland turns it over on the first possession.
Stoudemire, they're not a great shot blocking team, and they're also not a great team to get steals. So they play aggressive defense the last half of the season. Early in the season, they were giving up 109 a game. They've really improved on that.
Watch Nicholas Batum early, battling the bad shoulder. Phoenix likes to bring hard picks for Nash. Here comes one now. Nash doesn't use it. Collins goes away. Amari squares up on Camby. Amari Stoudemire, the outside jumper, and the rebound to Camby. And Phoenix's game plan in game 2 was to double Andre Miller on the ball and oftentimes off the ball on inbounds plays to not even let him bring it up the court.
Well, Grant Hill went up after that miss and cut off, but Andre Miller went back and got the basketball. Blazers won't be able to run many fast breaks doing that.
There's a big pick, and Batum normally fights through. That time pulled back a little bit as the pick was set for Nash, and he drops down the game's first field goal.
They may have to switch that early. They usually don't like to switch on pick and rolls early, the Blazers.
Inside, Camby, post to post to Aldridge, rejected by Amari Stoudemire and saved by Richardson, and now back to Richardson for the open three. Long, and Aldridge the rebound for Portland.
Nate, you can hear him on the sidelines. Go, go. He wants to run before Phoenix can set up that defense to get on Andre.
And there's the quick double. They go far side. Aldridge against Collins, a much more favorable matchup. Missed the shot. Camby tips it up and in.
Boy, and L.A. is screaming at Eric Lewis. I got hit.
Foul. Aldridge, bucket, and the foul. Stoudemire. Of course, what took Portland out of everything early in game 2 were the 2 quick fouls to LaMarcus Aldridge, put him on the bench and changed that whole game.
Yeah, it really did, because the Blazer rotation on the pick and roll wasn't nearly as good with L.A. out of the game. You can see L.A. moving. His feet were still moving. And Joe DeRosa had a good call underneath.
Misses the free throw, however, and now Portland with it. And so far, Andre Miller able to get the ball and bring it up the floor.
Now you remember, the Blazers are number 30 in the NBA in fast break points, so they don't have to run it up.
Batum baseline against that shoulder's feeling okay.
It'll feel better with a couple more of those, and he goes right back, and they're going to high pick and roll him immediately with that shoulder.
Richardson, of course, was huge. Now Hill. Backing down on Andre Miller. No help there. It's one-on-one. Now Aldridge comes to help, and Hill puts it in anyway.
Well, he made his first 10 shots in game 2. And that was big for the Blazers, getting behind in that ball game. Grant Hill did a great job on Andre Miller, and he made his first 10 shots.
Rudy has got to put some pressure on Nash. Drives to the middle. Miller back to Rudy for the open three. And Hill the rebound. It doesn't matter if they don't go in for Rudy early. He's got to continue. Although now that's 2 fouls. So we're likely going to see Jared Bayless off the bench. Or is it on? No, it's on Rudy. That's his second. with the importance, as you watch the Batum dunk, the importance of getting Rudy involved does, yes, Nate does make a move. He stood for a second and thought about it. Now Bayless will be hustled into the game.
Why he stopped and thought about it, he saw that Rudy was being more active in this first 4 minutes of this game than he was the entire game 2. So with that in mind, he wanted to keep that momentum going, but Bayless has been very successful this year against the Phoenix Suns, especially when Nash is on it.
And Richardson makes a pair, so Phoenix 3 free throw attempts already. Blazers won that battle in game 1. Suns won it in game 2 while the game counted. Of course, that game was over pretty early. As now Bayless will have a chance to run the offense. Batum, the jumper is long. That's one thing that he was having trouble with. Of course, wearing that big brace is the outside shot. I'm sure he'd prefer two-hand dunks. Grant Hill 10 for 11 in game 2. Now Aldridge ends up on Nash out top. There's the jumper over LaMarcus. It's short. Rebound. Camby tipped it. Batum tries to grab, and Stoudemire knocks it out of bounds. Portland ball.
Remember, they had a big game in game 2 in second chance points in the paint. That was completely the other way in favor of the Blazers in game 1.
Bayless had 18 in game 1. They're going to need offense out of him. With no Brandon Roy, Portland struggles at times to know where to go after offense. Here's Aldridge. Gets the bump from Stoudemire. Stoudemire swings through a little bit and picks up the foul.
Well, he is number 4 in the NBA in committing fouls, so it's not anything new. If you can get Stoudemire in foul trouble early, that's a big thing. He's number 4 in free throw attempts, and he also is number 4 in fouls committed.
There you see Brandon Roy on the Blazer bench. Will he come back at any point in this series? Offensive foul. Second foul on Aldridge. He'll have to sit down. The blueprint exactly from game 2.
Yeah, you just have to watch that. Both players have to watch that. L.A. and Stoudemire on the offensive fouls.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't... He was just getting a little space, and I give Stoudemire a lot of credit. He did a nice flop.
Yeah, it was Jaron Collins, actually, but yes, your point well taken. Batum out on Hill now. Bayless playing Nash. Nash to the middle, still with it. Ball knocked free and taken by Howard, who saves to Camby. Blazers can run, but the Suns back defensively. Bayless back to Camby. Wind up jumper, top of the key is down.
You notice how they close the middle. They're going to help Nash on Bayless. Bayless has taken advantage of him going to the rim.
Now Batum ends up on Collins. Howard on Grant Hill. And Hill banks it in off the glass. So Grant Hill, 10 for 11 in game 2, 2 for 2 to start this game.
Doesn't matter who initiates the offense for the Blazers. They both played point guard, Bayless and Miller. So.
Far side, Batum an open 3. Long, rebound Nash. Blazers 3 for 9 to start. Phoenix out running. Richardson lays it in.
They really take off. Nate's going to need a timeout right here to make sure he keeps this game under control.
And the Suns doing what they want early on. An 8-2 run by Phoenix. It hasn't been as free-flowing as their start in game 2, but they'll take it. Suns by 6.
Either Fry or anybody else on L.A., he can score. Now they don't have to worry about that. They can bring Channing Frye into the game for offense.
And once again for Phoenix, nice pick by Camby. That's tipped out of bounds by Grant Hill. Once again, as we saw in game 2, all you talk about is offense with Phoenix, but it's their defense that has gotten them out early. Game 2, that was most certainly the case.
Yeah, and they gone to the zone immediately. They did that during the regular season and bothered the Blazers.
That was tipped by Bayless. Camby reverses it up. No. Howard, no. Blazers can't get a bucket right now. 3 for 11. Stoudemire, Richardson, wide open 3. Off the mark, Suns offensive rebounding, and another area they have dominated, especially in game 2, second chance points.
Yeah, and that's Amari Stoudemire plants himself in there. And the crowd now a little out of it, and the Blazers didn't expect this zone, but without LA in there, they have no post presence.
Miller's short. Tip, no. Rebound to the corner, tipped out by Portland. Phoenix ball. Blazers 3 of 13.
See, and this, one reason they're in this zone is Rudy is out of the game.
Right.
So they don't have to worry about his.
And now Martell Webster, a three-point shooter, will be hustled in.
Yeah.
But it's Portland who is searching here early for combinations, as they were in game 2. Nash all the way down the middle, lays it up and in.
And
Up ahead, Bayless from Miller. Miller still has it. Camby, long 2. Loose ball foul. Howard, we go the other way. Batum out, Martell Webster in. Batum grimacing all the way to the bench. He is in a lot of pain with that shoulder.
Now they may go back out of the zone now with Martell Webster in the game. They knew Nicholas has the bad shoulder and probably couldn't shoot the outside shot. But the zone has been pretty good for him, so they probably will stay in it a while longer.
Well, we talked about the opening minutes of the game and what it would mean confidence-wise. And one for Amari Stoudemire. Phoenix opening things up here early in game 3, much like they did in game 2. Blazers, at least in that game, were able to hang tough and keep it within striking distance early.
Well, you saw what happened tonight with the Bulls. The Bulls took a 20-point lead on the Cavs and then hung on. And the Blazers, and I'll tell you, Phoenix plays a lot freer when they're up. Their three-point shots come easier. When they're on the road and it's a tight game, that's when they tighten up a little bit. But right now, it is not a tight game.
All right, where does Portland go for offense? That's off of Andre Miller. Turnover, Portland. Where do the Blazers go for offense now? Because we're seeing 18-footers from Marcus Camby, and that's not what they want.
No, and it just depends if they're man-to-man. They've got to get Bayless going a little stronger.
Cutter to the rim, foul Andre Miller. Free throws coming. Another shot at point-blank range for the Suns. Amari Stoudemire will shoot 2. He was not a huge factor in games 1 or 2, but tonight here early he certainly is.
Yeah, well, they've heard so much about this Blazer crowd during the year, keeping the undermanned Blazers in almost every game. And every game the Suns and Blazers played this year was decided by 7 points or fewer. So they've always been close games
until
during
game
the year.
2.
Yeah.
Game 2, in fact, was Portland's worst loss of the season. Blazers not a team that got blown out much in the regular season. Stoudemire misses a pair. First thing that's gone Portland's way tonight. But Portland, their worst loss of the season was only 20, and they only had 4 losses of 15 or more the entire regular season. That shows you what an aberration Game 2 was. Bayless rims that up and in. The assist to Andre Miller. That snaps a 14-2 Phoenix run.
Blazers.
Nash a double dribble, maybe got away with it. Crowd certainly thought so. Bill Kennedy, though, right on the play. Foul out top. Bayless doesn't like it from Channing Frye. Technical foul on Bayless.
Now remember, Frye and Bayless went to the same high school in Arizona, St. Mary's, so they do know each other quite well. Oh, now that should have been a foul on, yes. Channing Frye came with the second effort and bumped Bayless. Oh, that was a terrible call looking at the replay. Channing Frye bumped him, and
Nash misses a free throw.
The best foul shooter in the NBA at 94% misses one. But this may not be a bad thing right here. It gets the crowd all upset. It gets Nate upset.
Portland in the penalty already, and Phoenix will shoot 2. Channing Frye. Phoenix 3 of 7 at the free throw line to start this game.
The refs at halftime will look at that situation and see that Channing Frye set a pick, got bumped a little, and then did the second bump.
But it was the fact that a little play continued after the whistle that caught the eye of Bill Kennedy, and he saw Jared Bayless, and as always, that's the guy that gets nabbed. Fry makes a pair, and it's a 13-point Phoenix lead. You got to watch the foul trouble for Portland, just simply how short-handed the Trailblazers are. Andre Miller can't get it to fall, but does draw the foul.
Now notice how they're playing the pick and roll on Bayless. They're staying with the double team. They're letting Juwan Howard or Camby roll up the middle, and they're rotating their back people on him. They don't want Bayless to get off going one-on-one, so they're taking him out of the offense.
9 Phoenix free throw attempts here. This will be Portland's first 2. But that's not because Portland hasn't gotten the calls. That's aggressiveness on Phoenix's part. As Amari Stoudemire has already shot 4, and again, Phoenix just 5 of 9 at the line. A good free throw shooting team, or this could be much worse.
Well, in his career, Amari averages around 9 free throw attempts a game. That's number 5 for all active players in the NBA, so he does get to the foul line.
And Miller hits a pair. Blazers 4 of 15 shooting from the field. Phoenix 8 of 13, 62%. Nash 3. Portland goes under the pick, and Nash makes him pay once again.
You know, when you say under the pick, but that ball was like 4 steps beyond the 3-point line. You figure you can go behind the pick there.
Miller gets it back from Howard and hits the baseline jumper.
Well, now the Blazers are getting into a little rhythm on their offense, but it's their defense so far that has hurt them.
Another pick. This time they switch it, so Howard goes on Nash. Nash over Howard. Rims it off. Rebound Camby. Kicks to Miller. A rare chance for Portland to push. Bayless off the glass.
Now, Nash, he said in game 1 it hurt us when they switched the pick and roll. We took too much time, and the tempo of the game was really slow because I took too much time deciding what to do on the switching of the pick and roll. He didn't that time, but he missed the shot.
Well, the Suns have led by as many as 14 here early. The lead 10 as we head to the break. 3:01 left opening quarter from Portland.
Blazers really wanted to see some scoring from Rudy Fernandez in LA here in game 3.
Nash out top, they switch it. Camby ends up on him. Fry, far corner, Jared Dudley off the bench. Richardson fouled by Andre Miller. Free throws coming. Second foul on Andre Miller, and he's telling Nate McMillan, leave me, I'm okay.
Yeah, and this is what Phoenix does when they get a lead. They bring Channing Frye in the game. They spread the offense. They keep Amari Stoudemire foul line extended, so you're out with their 3-point shooters, and Dudley is one of the best in the NBA, 43% from the 3-point line. So they have Nash, Dudley, and Channing Frye, and a guy that was cold at the end of the year, Jason Richardson, got hot the last 2 weeks. So they have their shooters in there right now as Rudy comes back.
Interesting move to bring Rudy back in with the 2 fouls for Andre Miller, who has 2. Miller wanted to be left.
Well, I think
Portland has to get some offense on the floor.
And that's why they brought Rudy back. You know, there is no tomorrow. Game 3 is the big game. The Blazers got the split in Phoenix. Now they have to hold court on the home court, and so Rudy coming back in is not a surprise.
Howard holding. Rudy wide open. Wouldn't even look to shoot the shot. That was something that was the case in game 2. Fernandez, step back, tougher shot. Long. Richardson the rebound.
He's just not used to shooting off the dribble, Rudy. He likes to back up off the dribble and get set. So it's Nash knows that, and he kind of closes on him every time he's dribbling.
Nash with Bayless on him. Shot clock at 10. Nice pass inside Amari. Tried to dunk it over Rudy. Ball tipped out of bounds to Phoenix. And Amari Stoudemire staring down Rudy and even taking a step toward him, feeling he tripped over him and was upset about it. Oh, that was the forearm to Rudy's face is what the crowd at that end saw. 3 for Richardson, short. Would have been a long 2. Rebound, Webster. Nate McMillan once again urging his team to get the ball up the floor. You ever think we'd be saying, don't allow Phoenix's defense to get set? That's been the case.
Yeah, well, they've held the opponents under 40% shooting twice as much in the last 15 games as the first 50 games in the NBA.
Camby the steal. Up ahead, Bayless. Pass too long. He saves, but right to Phoenix. Now come the Suns 3-on-2. Lob to Richardson from Nash. 4-point swing right there. Blazers had numbers.
And you've got to look when Nash has the ball if you're Rudy for someone behind you. Jason Richardson gave him the thumbs up. I'm going.
Phoenix 8 fast break points early in this game. Of course, Blazers won that battle in game 1, surprisingly. Juwan Howard doesn't get the roll this time. The rebound, Fry. Richardson leaks out, got behind Bayless. Traveled with the ball underneath and reversed it in.
The crowd is trying to help, but it just can't get the offense going.
Webster has to take a long 2. It is long. Camby trying to grab the miss. He can't. Blazers had looked like they were going to charge back. They lose track of Richardson. And Martell Webster on the transition defense. You cannot leave Jason Richardson open. He had the huge start to game 2, and he's got 12 in game 3 in the first quarter.
Well, the Blazer big guys are trying to crash the boards to get some kind of scoring. When they do, it leaves them weak down at the other end. And the Blazers are one of the best teams in the NBA against the fast break.
Portland again searching for offense against the clock. Bayless, Rudy got to put it up, throws up a desperation 3. Shot clock violation. And how long can you leave LaMarcus Aldridge and Andre Miller on the Blazer bench if you're Nate McMillan? Well, they do have 2 fouls apiece, but this is slipping away early like game 2 did.
Yeah, I would bring LA, and I'll tell you, Dante Cunningham was shot. He's a guy that can score points.
He's an energy guy at least.
Yeah, energy, rebounds well, can close on 3-point shooters, so they may have to give Dante a little help.
Leandro Barbosa, right past Camby, no help behind, another layup. Bayless cross midcourt. And first quarter ends a masterpiece for the Phoenix Suns, much like the first quarter of game 2 in Phoenix. And they have done exactly what they have wanted here early. Take the crowd out of the game, get the game in their tempo, and get it out and run.
Get to that second screen if we need it, but most of all, we just need to settle down into this ball game.
Well, and not only is Phoenix outrunning Portland and out shooting Portland, they're out muscling them again here early as Louis Amundsen pushes Webster out of the way, grabs the offensive rebound and scores.
Yeah, with the Blazers thinking about offense, now they probably should be thinking of defense a little bit more.
Shot clock again winding down. Blazers end up with a long desperation 2 off the mark. Phoenix's defense has totally locked Portland up early in this one. Dragic to Fry, and Phoenix playing free and easy, you've already mentioned.
LA the whole year has just owned Channing Frye, and the Blazers can't seem to get him the ball down where he can score or get to the foul line.
Shot clock winding down. Don't say that very often. We certainly haven't tonight. Suns get it with 2 on the clock. Andre Miller back in for
Rudy.
Yes. And Juwan Howard will sit down as Dante Cunningham will check in.
And I think these are both good moves by the Blazers. It gives you Dante that can score and it gets physical, and Andre Miller can run the show.
Barbosa nearly went in. Another offensive rebound again. Portland getting out hustled. That ball was there for the taking.
Yeah, and it's you know, you have no options with no Roy and people in foul trouble. And
Dragic will reset the offense, although the clock now at 7. Jared Dudley takes an open three and buries it. Blazers slow to react, slow to get out on three-point shooters, and it's the second chance points again that are killing the Trailblazers as Phoenix is running away. And look at them double and swarm on the defensive end because Portland hasn't to this point been able to hit anything. Martell Webster hits that open three.
And that's why they can double LaMarcus now all night long with a 20-point lead. They can take a chance on the Blazers missing a three-point shot.
Dragic to an open Amundsen. Foul line jumper is off the mark. Rebound Aldridge.
You can't panic as Nate said on the bench. You've just got to play it one possession at a time.
Miller gets Amundsen in the air and is fouled. Free throws coming. It'll be Portland's second trip to the line. Phoenix with 11 attempts. You look at this lead of 20. Consider that Phoenix is 6 for 11 at the free throw line. This could be a lot worse.
But, you know, the second unit guys have been good to Alvin Gentry all year long. And when they're ahead like this in the game, they can play free and easy. They have not been a great road team, under 500. And if you look at the Blazers, they've been, and Dallas, the two best road teams in the West in the playoffs, and they're the two worst home teams. As you saw San Antonio beat Dallas in the last ball game, it's because Dallas hasn't been good all year, but they've been very good on the road. So you never know what will happen in these series.
Miller misses a pair. Well, and as Phoenix said after they lost game one, hey, not the end of the world, we'll bounce back. And unless things change dramatically here, it's going to be the Trailblazers with those kind of comments after game 3. Barbosa right down the middle, misses the shot. Amundsen nearly had the offensive board. Barbosa steals. Aldridge can't foul. He's got to be careful with his 2. And the Suns score again. That'll probably go down as a steal and a bucket, so not a second chance point.
No.
But again, a turnover for Portland. That's 6. Miller into Fry. And that's the Andre Miller we saw in game 1, delivering the blow.
Yeah, getting the ball now. That's not their problem, getting the ball to Andre. Their problem is shooting better than 30% and holding Phoenix under 60%.
And a conservative timeout called by Alvin Gentry, but he has to be loving everything he's seeing here tonight. Suns by 20. His mom, Janelle, is there as well. You guys keep your heads up. And the Trailblazers will try their best to rally back in this ball game and get a win for you tonight. Barbosa draws all of the defense. And Fry can't hit the 3. Here's Bayless and Miller out on the break. Miller cut off by a couple of Suns. Look at the swarming double teaming to get the ball out of the hands of Miller. And he turns it over. Dudley, 3 in transition. Long. Amundsen had a chance at it. Miller knocked it away. But the Suns now can afford to gamble and afford to take chances, defensively especially.
Yeah, and the Blazers offensively, they're not used to playing at a real fast tempo. So when they try to score quickly to get back in this game, it's just not the way they play all year long when they try to not turn the ball over, take good shots.
Dragic for 3. And now, as you said, playing free and easy for them. It only pours gas on the fire.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if they miss a 3. They're 20 up. So when you got that freedom.
23 now.
Yeah, 23 now. Bayless looks a little tired there. He's the guy that has to, if they're going to go one-on-one, he has to do it.
Aldridge 0 for 4 here in the first half. Bayless down the middle. Lays it in.
See, and that's what he has to do. He has to get real aggressive and make somebody check him and get some help so he can get maybe a guy like Martell open on the perimeter.
Barbosa long 2. You know, Phoenix was the hottest team in the NBA, or one of them, coming down the stretch in the regular season. Finished the season 14-2. Had the game 1 stunner against Portland to start this playoff series, and a lot of people nationally were not really changing their tune on the Suns. They were just saying that was an aberration as to what we have seen from Phoenix late in the season. Now, given the way games 2 and 3 have gone, you can't fault people for speaking up even more about that and saying, what happened in game 1? This is the Phoenix team we've seen the last couple of months.
Well, they had to really step back because they beat Denver by 20.
Miller fouled.
By scoring 123 points against Denver. Then the last game of the season, they played Utah and held Utah to 37% shooting. They went into the playoffs thinking, hey, we're going to blow the Blazers out. They lose game 1. And that was really a setback, but they just stepped, as you said, MB, stepped up in game 2, and now they have their complete confidence back after this first half.
Aldridge, here comes the double. They kick it out, but he's got to get it back because Aldridge passing out of the low post when the double comes. That's all we saw in game 2. And that's what we've seen so far tonight. LaMarcus 0 for 4. He had the 2 early fouls, and it's exactly what we saw in game 2. Phoenix's game plan against him has been perfect.
Yeah, and why not? Sometimes they don't. If the game is close, they won't double LA. They'll let their Amundsen and Channing Frye play him straight up, or Collins. But if they've got a big lead like this, why not double him, take him out of the offense, and really see if the Blazers can make some outside shots, which they haven't been able to do so far.
And now these Suns starters starting to trickle back in. Amari Stoudemire back in there. You saw Grant Hill enter moments ago. Steve Nash won't be far behind here at about the 5.5-minute mark.
And that's big because Grant Hill is 37. We got a 36-year-old in Steve Nash. And if you can give them this much time on the bench to rest, you know, they'll come at you strong late in the ball game, third and fourth quarter.
High dribble by Dragic. Crowd didn't like that. Moves around a pick from Stoudemire. Shot clock single digits. Again, that hasn't happened much tonight. Here's Frye. Dragic, 3. Good.
As I said,
49 points on the board halfway through, not even halfway through, quarter number 2.
And the Blazers during the regular season held this team to 11 below their scoring average in the 3 games.
Aldridge has to throw up a long 2 under duress. Off the mark. Dragic fouled by Cunningham. Well, and for Blazer fans who were looking for positives going into this game, it was simply that the teams had met 5 times this season. 4 of them had followed the exact same pattern. It was almost like game 2 was the aberration. Maybe that wasn't the case.
No.
It's going to help this team get back into this game is this crowd. What is it meant to have this crowd all year long?
It's amazing. I mean, I get around, like I've said before, to a lot of arenas and haven't seen a crowd like this anywhere, and they're going to help us get back in this game.
Thanks, Larry.
Thanks.
All right, Rebecca, Larry Miller, president of the Trailblazers, as Phoenix has a shot clock down to 7. Nash along 2 is long, and that's what a little full court pressure will do, put the Suns against the clock, which isn't something that happens very often.
No, not with that group. Nash could take his time, decide. They switched on it, so rather than go inside, he went against.
Aldridge turns baseline, something he does not do often from that side. Gets it back, can be kept it alive, and the Blazers get a rare second chance bucket.
And that's, I think, the first points for LA tonight. We talked about it in pregame. The Blazers need a big scoring night from LA.
Frye catch and shoot for 3. Short, and Webster the rebound. Blazers need to have something positive happen or sustain something positive here in the final 5 of the first half. Aldridge deep position. Blocked. Foul call.
Notice how they're playing Andre Miller. Grant Hill, 6'8", backing up, trying to make Andre Miller take an outside jump shot. I don't think this far behind Andre Miller is going to fall into that web.
First trip to the line for Aldridge tonight. Portland is 3 of 6. Phoenix 6 of 11. These are 2 good free throw shooting teams normally.
Anybody that has Steve Nash on it's a good foul shooting team.
And he's 0 for 1 tonight.
Yeah.
That tells you what kind of night it's been. A freaky night.
Well, you know, he didn't get a lot of votes for MVP, but if you look at this year compared to his 2 MVP years, He shot 51% from the twos, 42 from threes, 94 from free throws, led the league in assists. Does that sound like MVP?
No. 4 different times now, 4 different seasons, he's shot over 50 from 2, over 40 from 3, and over 90 from the line.
Yeah, and he's done it 2 straight years in a row. No one has done that.
Bayless the near steal, Nash to a wide open Richardson. Richardson with 15 first half points. Had the huge game in game 2, 29 points on 11 of 16 shooting. And we talk about Amari Stoudemire, and you just mentioned Steve Nash, Grant Hill, the guy who really was on fire down the stretch of the season and who really fueled that run where Phoenix went 28-7 to finish the season was Richardson.
Yeah, he, Barbosa was out because of the injured wrist, and he only played 44 games. He came back not shooting at all at the end of the year. He's back shooting much better. They've got Jason Richardson, who, all his life, whether it be the Warriors or whoever he played, he led his team in scoring 4 of the 8 years he was in the league. So he knows how to score, and he's got his confidence back. Right now, this team is a dangerous playoff team.
As people thought they were going into the playoffs. Then game 1 happened. But since then, it's been all Phoenix in this series.
And there's no Shaquille O'Neal to slow him down.
Richardson doubled. Hill, Nash, you start doubling Phoenix, they will pick you apart. Stoudemire.
See, and that was just a shot that would have been good defense if the game would have been close. Stoudemire might not have known what to do with it, but he just throws it up.
Miller down the middle, looking for the call, but the shot was blocked. Nash back in transition. Richardson open 3 down.
Boy,
the Suns continue to grow their lead, and the Blazers punchless offensively. But you got to give the Suns credit. Their defense. Clearly Portland playing shorthanded, but hey, they're used to that. It's been that way all year. Suns defense has shut down Portland totally here tonight.
Usually happens here at the Rose Garden to this Blazer team. They just needed to not even think about offense, just go out and be so aggressive on defense. But
as Richardson picks that away from Batum, I'm not sure if Nicholas is long for this game, as he was wincing even before going back into the game after that timeout, and now is in a lot of pain as he walks to the other end. You have to give him credit for trying it tonight. As he walked out before the ball game, was doing some light shooting, but was wincing at every release. And there, you don't see him get the ball stripped away that easily by defenders. And if that kind of stuff is happening, you know the shoulder is affecting him. And you can see by the way he's standing even right now at the line that he's not feeling good.
Yeah, but it's the NBA, and you if you're in there, you've got it, and he's giving it his all. But this Phoenix team, when they get ahead, they play at their tempo then. And that's the worst thing that could happen to the Blazers. It's a high scoring team. They average 110 a game. They're the #1 points, #1 field goal percent.
And averaged 118 a game after the All-Star break. That's this kind of offense that we're seeing.
Yeah. And the Blazers needed that earlier from LA, but he was on the bench with fouls, so they had to put him back in.
Nash poked away momentarily by Miller. Richardson, shot clock down to 5. Nash with Aldridge on it. That one nearly rebound Batum. Blazers back, but no room. Suns there defensively. Bayless gets to the rim and scores it. He was looking for the foul. Stoudemire looked like he pulled up, and there was no contact.
Well, for the crowd's sake, you would hope that the Blazers make a little run here, just to keep the people that look forward to this playoff game so much.
Stoudemire. Well, and a lot of those fans who were here at game 1 last year against Houston Batum. Richardson fouls him, and Batum is in a lot of pain as he goes down. Hit that shoulder again.
Yeah, he hit the shoulder. He knew that if he went in for a layup.
If you want him for any action beyond tonight in this series,
All right.
I'm just not sure how much more he can give tonight.
Well, it's just what it is, you know, he hit it, so he's going to have a little pain. It doesn't mean it made the injury any worse, the strain.
You can see the look on his face. And Nicholas is a very good free throw shooter, and that ball didn't get to the rim. To the middle of the rim, anyway.
And your options are limited.
Right on the shoulder.
Yeah, your options are limited when you go against the Suns. If you try to pick up tempo, that probably plays just in your hands. Remember, the Blazers are number 30 in fast break points, so they're not a team that's used to running it up and down and scoring, but you know they're going to have to open it up to try to get back in this game.
Batum had the torn labrum end of the summer, underwent surgery, missed the first 45 games of the year. Blazers allow a dunk by Richardson inside. Richardson already with 21. Blazers call a 20-second timeout. And you can understand the ball movement and the three-point shooting, but when they're walking to the rim and dunking, and there goes Batum, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if you don't see him back tonight.
No.
And a lot of people nationally ask the question, those who have been following this Blazer team, which probably not many if they're in the Eastern time zone because it's late.
Yes.
But a lot of people asking the question when hearing about the Batum injury in Game 2, is this the final backbreaker for Portland this year? They've overcome so much already, so many injuries. Can they possibly do it again in this case, or is this the one that sinks them once and for all?
Well, it hurt their defense at the start of the year, and it's just catapulted at 360 minutes injuries.
Here's
games
the Batum,
lost.
where the injury to Batum on right there at the end of Game 2, not the end, but midway through Game 2. And this is Nicholas before the game tonight. That's about all he could do, was take a shot and then drop the shoulder down. But after taking a couple of blows early, and then that one where he went down on the court, I think he's done. If you want to see him Saturday, he's likely done. Webster a long three. Miller offensive rebound over Grant Hill. 90 seconds for the second quarter. Foul on Jaron Collins. But we mentioned, you talked about the crowd. Last year's Game 1, when Portland had the home court advantage against Houston, was almost exactly like this. It was Yao Ming early and just took the crowd completely out of the game. They blew Portland out of that one, but the Blazers rallied to win Game 2 and make it a 6-game series. The cushion now is the fact that Portland won the home court advantage with their Game 1 win. You don't want to give games back. Clearly in a situation like this, where a win tonight by Phoenix and they reclaim home court advantage, but at least you've built in a little cushion for something like this. But after seeing a tail kicking in Game 2 and so far in Game 3, how much more can you give?
Well, it's when you don't have your offensive weapons. Remember, Blazers are 35-14 when Roy and Miller are starting in the backcourt. You won't have that. They could lose a lot of players as long as Miller and Roy were playing together and playing the way they were mid-season. But there is no Roy. At least tonight there's no Roy.
Well, and that will become the question, no doubt. Stoudemire, the shot clock buzzer with 1 minute left in the half. A lot of the talk has been among Blazer fans, can they get Brandon Roy back? How is he? He got the stitches out after minor knee surgery, and Roy is working. But if you win this game, that probably isn't as much. Look at the save, and here comes Phoenix 2-on-1, although Webster getting back and breaks it up. But if you win Game 3, maybe you don't bring Roy, or at least hustle Roy back. But can we even think it's a possibility under the circumstances to see Roy on Saturday?
Well, nothing's impossible, and he is working out, as he told the press last night, that we'll have to wait and see how it feels. But, you know, if you take this, I would think with this game the way it is, Game 4 would have to be the ultimate that you could bring them back, and, you know, maybe Game 5. Boy, but Jason Richardson, that's who checks Roy, and Roy has had tremendous success against Jason Richardson. Without any Roy here, Richardson's had a great series from outside, inside.
And the way that Portland was able to work in Game 1 is Richardson spent so much effort on Andre Miller that it was difficult for Phoenix to get him involved offensively. Now that they've put Grant Hill on Andre Miller, and Portland has really no offense out of the 2-guard spot, Richardson can float and just concentrate on offense.
Yeah, and he couldn't the year round. Roy, the last 2 years, has averaged 27 a game against Jason Richardson. And I'm sure if Roy was playing tonight, Richardson would have to check him. And
it's Game 4 set for Saturday, an early start here in Portland. And there is Brandon Roy. And obviously Brandon itching to get back. He's doing everything he can. But as he's made the comment, I'm pushing, but they have final say. And as Nate McMillan and his staff have said, when Brandon tells us he's ready, we're going to play him. Roy has done some treadmill work. He's done some light shooting on the knee where he had the partial tear of the meniscus. Had the procedure. They had to make 2 incisions instead of the usual 3. He got the stitches out today, but is already saying there is no swelling and there isn't much pain.
And as you said, he did some shooting, so he would know that.
And if you were ever going to rush him back, you've got to think. If things go this way for the rest of the night, Blazers a foul to give, Bayless takes it. You would try and push him for a Game 4, because if you wait past that, given how these games have gone, they may not be much to bring him back for.
Well, mentally, it would be the answer, because this Blazer team definitely needs.
Now, the foul to give is always a curious thing. We always mention it. Everybody does in the NBA. Portland a foul to give. So you take the foul. But the danger of taking it with 11 seconds left is this. Phoenix inbounds, you foul again, now you get free throws.
Yeah, the problem.
So you hand Phoenix 2 points.
Yeah, and if Nash wants to beat, he knows the Blazers are going to have a foul to give, and he starts early, then you just play regular defense, because then you're going to get a shot with like 8 seconds if he's going to try to score. If he doesn't try to score, let the clock run down and foul him with 2-3 seconds. Now he gets 2 foul shots, and the Blazers do get the shot.
From half court, it wouldn't have surprised anyone had that gone down. As a complete disaster here in the first half of Game 3 in Portland. The crowd was ready to get involved, but like last year's Game 1 against Houston, they were taken.
Do that for himself, but the guys are very determined and focused. They do want to get back into this ball game. They certainly aren't planning on backing down anytime soon, Mike.
Well, Phoenix the ball to begin the half. As you see the Suns' record when leading at halftime. Richardson going right back to work and wanted the foul as well.
As we said, normally that would be Brandon Roy checking Richardson, and he doesn't post up Brandon Roy in that manner. So remember, this Phoenix Suns very good with assists because of Steve Nash. They average about 23 a game, so they can pass the basketball.
There comes the double, and as you said, the one change they made on blocking foul on Richardson, the one change they made in defending Aldridge, Game 1, they would bring an immediate double. Game 2, they let Aldridge take a dribble or 2 and then brought the double, and that's what they're doing again tonight. LaMarcus looks like when he gets the catch, he's going to have some room. Then comes the double from Stoudemire. He spins back baseline this time and dunks it from Andre Miller.
Yeah, Collins, not the fleetest of foot, playing the defensive end. But he's a guy that'll start the game. He only averages about 12 minutes a game. They bring Channing Frye in. Of course, Lopez is out with injury.
Aldridge the block on Richardson.
And Lopez is the guy that started all the games. He possibly could play in the second round if they make it there.
Nash turns the corner on Miller. Grant Hill, hugely traveled the ball. Huge part of game 2 was Grant Hill, not so tonight. Well, a lot of the talk at halftime, a lot of the writers around back in the media area as you watch the lob here to Aldridge. The fact that in the last 6 quarters, Portland is a minus 58.
Yeah.
Now, granted, most of the credit here goes to Phoenix. And again, it wasn't like Phoenix hasn't been doing this. But the reason, what gave Portland fans hope after game 2, as we've talked about, was the fact that that was the different game. That was the unusual game compared to the 3 previous they had played, 4 including game 1 in the regular season and playoffs. Because you look back in the first 3.5 games, Phoenix had only had 1 quarter of 30 or more points.
Yes.
But now, in the last 6 quarters, 5 of them have been 30 points or more. That's the drastic turnaround that is, well, more than concerning if you're a Blazer fan.
Yeah, and a lot of it had to do with the Blazers in game 2 getting into early foul trouble, and it kind of disrupted their defense. And then Phoenix, really, you could see their backs were to the wall, and they came out and really played an excellent ball game. Nate is really trying to push it up now, as we said.
Backdoor pass hits the rim. Turns into a Portland turnover. Grant Hill, trouble with the ball in transition. Well, and as you said, any comeback effort against Phoenix, that's a hook on Hill, we'll go the other way. Any comeback effort against Phoenix only plays into their hands. It's like when you have an option football team that gets down 2 or 3 touchdowns, it is difficult to mount a comeback simply because you don't pass the ball. How do you score points?
Yeah.
For the Blazers, it's you don't run, so it's difficult to make up big deficits.
Well, it is without Roy in there. He's their half-court offensive guy, and he's not in there. One of your best runners if you were going to run.
Richardson gets it back somehow around 4 shirts, white shirts, and then has it knocked away, and then going to challenge Pat Frayer. But Richardson, with the way he's played in the last game and a half, he deserves to blow off a little steam and have some leeway.
Well, he was slam dunk champ twice, so he's an athlete. He can leap. And now he's showing he can shoot.
Part of that high-powered Golden State team a few years ago. Shocked the NBA playoffs. And part of that trade the Suns made with Charlotte. Boris Diaw, Raja Bell were involved. And you got to give Steve Kerr, who's in the building tonight, the former Trailblazer, a lot of credit for how he has remade things in Phoenix. Miller takes the bump from Stoudemire, not enough for a foul, and the rebound finally dug out of there by Grant Hill. Miller not getting those calls that he was getting in game 1 driving to the middle.
Yeah, and he got bumped a little bit, but it is the playoffs.
That's right. Stoudemire puts it down on Aldridge. Or excuse me, on Camby. And that's who gets the foul.
And the thing that is very difficult making a comeback in this type of situation against how Phoenix is playing, the crowd just cannot get into the game, and they want to so badly.
Murray along with the jumper, rebound Camby, number 8 for him. Camby had the big first game, 4.17 rebounds, 3 blocks in Portland's win. Again, Rudy not even looking at the 3-point shot. And you've got an open 3 and you're down like this, you got to pull the trigger. Martell into traffic, nowhere to go. Aldridge bats that out. New shot clock. But again, Portland cannot be waiting for shot clocks to get down to 2 before attacking. Stoudemire against Aldridge. Webster, the backside jam.
Well, the Blazers, that's one of the few times that out-hustled Phoenix for a long rebound. And the crowd is back. That gives them a little hope.
Nash gets the timeout called before the turnover. And the crowd trying to get back involved. But when you've trailed by as many as 31, it's got to take a huge rally. Portland hopes it has that in them. Basketball side of things, and really got in there, got Shaq. Kind of went against what they are. Richardson cancels out any hopes of a Portland run there.
Well, they're not
of course, Terry Porter was their head coach and was hired to teach the team some defense, did, and got absolutely torched for doing it.
Yeah, simply because of Steve Nash was a guy that loved to run, and they had Shaq who didn't love to run. So,
but what Steve Kerr has done since then, Andre dribbles that off his foot. That's the kind of night it's been. Rudy trying to save it, and does. Miller picks it up. New shot clock for Portland.
This Phoenix team won't.
Webster. Got the bump from Amari, but not enough. Stoudemire, nice job to affect it without fouling, and Phoenix digs it out. Aldridge, Camby gets it back. Martell Webster knocks it away. Martell has showed some pretty good energy here early in the half, playing for Batum. He's working hard.
But they won't panic. Nash has played 102 playoff games. Grant Hill has a gold medal in the '96 Olympics. So they've been through a lot, the veterans on this ball club.
Stoudemire put a hard pick on Andre. He didn't like it. Gave a little shove after the play. And you worry about that at this point because Portland's been embarrassed now for a game and a half by Phoenix. And Amari, of course, started the ball game off doing a bit of woofing, and certainly has the right to after the way they've played the last game and a half. The Blazers, a prideful bunch that has been emotionally beaten up all year by the different injuries and such they have taken. Aldridge out on the open floor. Fouled hard by Grant Hill. He'll have to shoot free throws. Hill ends up in the first row. And if you're Alvin Gentry at this point, anytime a game gets like this, I suppose there is the threat that you can lose your edge by getting sloppy, and he doesn't want to see that happen.
Yeah, well, as long as Nash is in there, I don't think that'll happen.
But how long will Nash be in there?
Yeah, that's true. They'd love to give him a little more rest. Gentry this year, because of the improved play, won Coach of the Month twice this year.
Yeah.
And he didn't get a lot of votes for Coach of the Year, which
neither did Nate McMillan.
Yeah, well, Nate finished third, so he got
9 first-place votes.
And that's 8 more than Gentry got. So, you know, a lot of people in the East didn't recognize the fact that Nate lost over 360 games to injuries. You know, his 2 centers early in the year and everything. So it's been a long, hard year.
Travel or foul? They're going to say a foul first on Marcus Camby.
Don't worry about lifting the pivot foot when you start.
Now it's under 5 to play in quarter number 3.
It's going to be interesting to see how Nate McMillan substitutes in this ballgame.
There's a travel.
Well, it's almost the same as the last time. He just picked up the foot before he started. And when you have athletic ability like Amari Stoudemire, and you're letting him lift it up, you're in trouble. He'll go by you in a heartbeat.
They go back to Aldridge. Now they'll wait to double. Now the double comes when the ball on the floor. There's somebody open. It's Andre Miller for a long 2. Webster again, working hard. The hardest working Blazer on the floor. Look at Alvin Gentry all over Bill Kennedy. Poor Bill's getting it from both sides tonight. Nash. Richardson on a tee.
Well, I'll tell you, he's closing his eyes 10 for 15 and just red hot. Don't get near it.
21 for 31 if you go back in the last 2 games for Richardson.
Man.
Rudy open again for 3, doesn't look at it. They pass it up for a 2. Fernandez 0 for 3 in this ball game, has not scored. Channing Frye a long 3. Channing has not had a particularly strong series here against his former team.
Well, they know him so well. They know you've got to make him dribble the ball. If he catches and has his feet squared up under him, he's going to make the shot. The Blazers are getting out on him. Most teams, to stop Amari Stoudemire on the pick and roll with Nash, leave Channing Frye open. That's why he made over 273s this year. That's 4th in the NBA.
Shooting foul. Richardson fouls Webster. Well, I guess the good news is Phoenix only has 10 points here in the quarter.
Yeah.
Richardson has all 10, by the way, and then gets the foul there on Webster.
And when they can do that and still hang in the game with one guy, Richardson just seems to be in that groove. We remember back when he was younger and played with the Warriors. He'd get in
Alvin
that
Gentry
groove.
has talked the officials into reviewing this. I think they're just looking to see whether it's a 2 or a 3.
A 2 or a 3.
And they're saying, at least Joe DeRosa is saying, our initial call on the floor is a 3. And now we'll check out and see if it's going to be a 2 or a 3. Earlier tonight, Chicago upset Cleveland to get their first win in that series. It's going to be a 3.
Tell Gentry to sit down. Yeah, I mean, at least complain about something that's.
Well, he's got to complain about something. He hasn't had much to complain about so far tonight.
Well, in his 7 years as head coach, 2 were above 500, and he coached with Detroit, the Clips, and Phoenix. So he is enjoying this year.
Absolutely, and he should. He's done a great job with his team. Suns had that quick start, as we mentioned. We mentioned their 14-2 finish, but they started the season 14-3.
Yeah.
And then they flattened off, and in fact, at one point were 26-21 on the season, but then got it back together and went 28-7 the rest of the way.
Now, the way they play with that in mind, how they go up and down, it's the thing about, they are a team that relies a lot on outside shooting. If you can close the paint up on Amari, if they start missing, you can run on them and you can score, because they're 3rd worst team in the NBA in giving up fast break points. So you can hit 3s on them, but you've got to make some foul shots. You can't miss 2 out of 3 in that situation.
Martell avoids the hat trick by hitting the final look. 3.5 left here in quarter number 3. Stoudemire fouled by Bayless. And that'll be just the 3rd team foul on Portland here in the quarter.
Saying he's not shooting. I don't know about that.
He was into the basket. All right. Trails on Bayless. Alvin Gentry was upset, wanting free throws there, and Amari Stoudemire still as well. But Andre it looked to be well into the backboard. Might have still got a shot off.
Oh, it's pretty close. Pretty close.
Nash gets a high pick from Stoudemire. Blazers double. Can't be ripped it away. Stoudemire gets it back and was on the sideline, so it's a turnover Phoenix. And that is their 11th.
Well, it's a combination of the Blazers getting a little more aggressive and this Phoenix team getting a little sloppy.
And 7 turnovers in the quarter for the Suns.
Yeah. So if you're the Blazers, you got to be able to, keep the crowd in, score right here, make a stop.
Well, are you obviously building here with a chance, but are you trying to reestablish and rebuild some of your confidence for game 4?
Absolutely. Game 4 is in the, and they're still double teaming LaMarcus, and LaMarcus still is getting no help for an outlet pass. People are hiding from him.
7 to shoot for the Blazers when we come back.
Specifically, he came over, he was very excited that the guys had gotten some stops. He's saying, keep your head in this game, we're fighting back into it. The bench is fired up right now. They're really trying to stay focused on this game. They're not thinking about Saturday.
Richardson fouled on his way to the lane, ran into Joe DeRosa, and Joe appears to be all right. So does everybody else down there. Right at the feet of owner Paul Allen, who's sitting in his baseline seat. The free throw's coming for Richardson. And here's the Blazer bench.
You don't want to come out of a timeout and not get a shot off. Get a kind of a throw, and then they come down and once again attack the rim and get to the foul line for 2 shots. So it wasn't a, Nate would say, a great timeout for us, as I adjust my speaker.
It's always a good time to do that while you're talking.
Yeah. You know how they do testing, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, normally you do that before the broadcast begins, but that's okay. It's been that kind of a night.
That's right.
Richardson makes a pair. 31 for Jason Richardson tonight.
Oh.
He was the key in game 2.
You know, and the main guys in this game, if you remember, it was Bayless in game 1. And you know, it never has been Roy or L.A. or, you know, the Blazer leading scorers. When the Blazers won, it was Nicholas had a great game with 18. Bayless had 18.
Yeah. Aldridge turns on Stoudemire and hits. Well, one thing to build on if you're Portland, it's LaMarcus Aldridge here, as he's getting a little chippy with Amari Stoudemire that last possession down. They've done a little talking, a little bumping, and that's okay. Portland likes to see that. Fry to Jared Dudley. Back to Fry for the open 3, and Channing still off the mark in these playoffs from behind the 3-point line. But he's thrilled to be back in Portland, the city he loves so much. And I'm not being sarcastic. He does.
Yeah, he does. He'll be back this summer.
Webster, corner to Bayless. Jared between the legs of Miller, out of bounds. Shot clock was down to 6. Blazers had a couple open looks on that possession.
Yeah, and if you're Bayless, you have to realize the clock is at 6. You throw it to the corner, that'll be about 3, and they're hoisting a shot that you don't want. So Bayless has to attack the rim and try to get fouled in that situation.
Stoudemire wide open fade, can't hit it.
Well, this, as you said, MB, it shows the Blazers.
Aldridge again. This one off the mark. Rebound Stoudemire.
That they can play with this team on an even. Right now, they're ahead in this quarter, 16-10.
Phoenix has 12 points in the quarter. Okay, 15.
Yeah. And I have a feeling that the Blazers in game 4 will pay a lot more attention to a guy named Jason Richardson.
Game 1, he had 14 points is all. Bayless at the rim. Camby tries to tip it in and does. He and Aldridge both there. I'm sure they'll give that to Camby. Stoudemire got away with the shuffle there. Dudley, long 3 and off the mark. Webster. The rebound. Blazers can hold for a final shot. And double tickles. That's the matchup I said to watch a moment ago. Amari Stoudemire, and Aldridge has not had enough of it. And Amari has gotten away with a couple of things early in this game. Shots down low on Aldridge. And you could see that coming. Watch under the rim.
Watch under the rim.
It's that stuff that's been happening. And Aldridge has had enough of it.
Yeah. And the refs can't see that. They will later on.
Let's see what the officials decide here as they're meeting out at midcourt. And again, as we said earlier, you could see this coming. As I told our truck about 10 minutes ago to watch that matchup. You could see it developing.
Pat Frere didn't want to call a technical only, I believe, on L.A. Now, whether he convinced Bill Kennedy, who wanted to call the technical on L.A.
Offsetting technicals is what they're calling here.
Yeah. Well,
take a look from above now. Now, if Kevin Garnett's going to get a game for an elbow, then shouldn't that be at the very least a fine?
Yes.
If the NBA is watching.
He went right into him.
Now, again, the elbows have been a point of emphasis.
Yeah.
You heard it talked about after the Boston game. Now, take a look again.
Watch the elbow.
Watch this here. If that connects, he gets a game, correct?
Yeah,
with the precedent that's been set.
Yeah, the elbow went exactly like KG of Boston, only KG hit the man. Stoudemire tried to elbow him and missed him. Now, I have to look at that.
That was even a more ferocious elbow than perhaps Garnett's was. Bayless scores and he's fouled. And then gives a shove to Louis Amundsen. So maybe if getting down 31 is what it takes for you to man up, Trailblazers will accept this.
Well, any aggressive action by the Blazers.
Watch Bayless here after the play. A little shot that Amundsen didn't like. But you've got to think the NBA is going to take a long look at Amari Stoudemire and the near miss on Aldridge's chin with that wild elbow.
The refs missed it entirely, the elbow that started the whole fracas on the shot.
Well, they'll look at it later, and so will
they'll
the
look
NBA.
at it later.
21-point game. Blazers do put a dent in Phoenix's largest lead, but still a long way to go for this one before heading for a game 4. Phoenix trying to take a 2-1 series lead and well on their way. Here with Nicholas Batum. You think he doesn't know Nick has a sore shoulder? Take a look at the shot there a little bit.
Yeah.
Although not too bad there. But once again, the precedent has been set in these playoffs as it concerns thrown elbows. Webster takes it away from Barbosa. And a foul going to be on Barbosa. So the Blazers showing a little spunk and grit at the very least.
Yeah, and
but very interesting to see what will happen once the league takes a look at the Amari Stoudemire elbow as it pertains to game 4. Because precedent holding, Stoudemire could very realistically get a game for that.
Well, I'm sure Boston will look at that and say, hey, our guy got it. And it was the same type of situation. Amari tried to hit him with an elbow.
Webster. And it wasn't in a stoppage, but it was away from the play.
Well, that's brought a little life to the team and the fans.
Still 11 minutes left here. Phoenix only has 15 points since halftime.
Boy, that could have been Palmer right there.
Dragic, step back 3. Bayless the rebound. Long way to go yet, but this is a good start. Bayless takes the hit. Missed the shot, but did get fouled. Free throws coming.
If that lane is there, you've got to take it. They don't have a shot blocker in the game. And Channing Frye.
And here comes Amari Stoudemire, and Steve Nash hustled back to the table. Alvin Gentry, I know, was hoping those guys would be done for the night.
Yeah. Blazers don't mind if they see these 3 coming in, but there is a guy named Jason Richardson that they hope they never see again, because he's the guy that has 34 points. There's only 2 Suns in double figures. Amari is 13 and Jason Richardson 34. So he's done the yeoman part of the story tonight for this Suns team.
1 of 2 for Bayless. Took a while for the crowd. Finally able to get into this game. Stoudemire spins to the middle. Howard fouls him. Juwan Howard, never have to ask him to lay the wood inside. He's always very willing.
Well, they've got a guy on the Blazer bench named Pendergraph.
Oh, and he would love to be a part of this.
He'd love to be in the game right now. There he is right there. Look at, you could tell.
He likes
to tell right now.
He told us what the strategy should be at halftime.
That's right. He did. And if you want to get rough and tumble, that's the guy to do it.
And Amari hits the first free throw.
Of course, Amari has an option to be a free agent this summer.
1 of 2 for him. And it's going to be remarkable if after all of this, as Cunningham hits the baseline jumper.
And he can hit that. That's a guy that, you know, if you need scoring, and he's a tough guy in a game that the Blazers have to get physical to win. Dante Cunningham from Villanova.
Nash on Bayless. Stoudemire holds. Runs down Howard. Ball stripped away by Cunningham. Loose ball. Timeout Portland with the shot clock violation.
No, it was a shot clock violation.
And they're not going to have to use a timeout here. I don't think a timeout will be used here. That's going to be a shot clock violation before. And they're trying to show the clock. Blazer coaches are. And therefore this timeout would not be used.
And that's big. And the only good thing happened so far is Oklahoma City's beating the Lakers.
Bayless, top of the key, gets the roll.
I don't know why they kept Jason Richardson out so long, but he's back.
Well, the Blazers last year were the comeback kings. Richardson over the top from Nash, double. Grant Hill, shot clock at 2. Hill leans, foul line, got it. Big shot.
Boy, that's how we used to shoot him at Duke when he had the good legs. And the last 2 games, he's shown he still has good legs.
Miller, baseline cutoff, hits it. Now, if Portland was playing with this sense of urgency from the start, they wouldn't have been in a 31-point hole.
You got it. You can see the intensity is built up.
Stoudemire fouled, scores it as well. Cunningham was there.
And Bayless is getting hit by picks. He's not getting the dribbler. The big guys are switching, and he's not fighting back to get Amari Stoudemire in the middle. So he's got to do one of 2 things. Either get through the pick, as we see Andre Miller do his magic down on the baseline.
Missed the free throw. Blazers stand and watch, and Richardson grabs the offensive rebound and is fouled. LaMarcus Aldridge will return to the game.
And the young man Dante Cunningham did a nice job while he was in there. He's 2 for 2 on the night.
Nicholas Batum in street clothes on the Blazer bench. Tried to give it a go tonight. Couple of bumps, had to leave. He's done.
They bring in Channing.
Another Trailblazer injury to deal with.
Yeah, Channing Frye's in there so they can get to Amari right there.
Amari Stoudemire with a travel. Pat Frayer with the call out top.
And they called it 2 dribbles after he actually did it. It was partly crowd, partly Nate McMillan jumping up and reminding the refs that there still is a traveling rule in the league.
And now the Blazers back with it. 8:20 left, still a lot of time.
But you got to attack.
Portland's offense was so punchless early. And now they're doing it with really kind of an awkward lineup in there. Over the top, they go to Richardson. Foul going to be on Bayless. Okay to be aggressive, but you don't want to put this team in the penalty this early.
Yeah.
This will be the 4th team foul on Portland. That's 5 fouls on Bayless.
Right. They had a good double team there. You just want to make them make a mistake.
Bayless did not want to come out there. He understands.
Well, he shouldn't have committed that foul then.
He's telling Nate, I won't foul. I won't foul. I had to clear a waiter out of there. He was trying to get somebody's beverage order. I think perhaps that takes precedence over the game at this point.
That's right.
Fry had Stoudemire open. Here's Richardson. Might as well. Jason Richardson again. He's got 37 in the game.
And I mean, he's got it on automatic pilot. He's
sure
just catching and flicking. Man.
And that puts the lead back to 20. Webster, long 2, hits it.
Well, they're looking like they have a little more life. Now, if they could do something about the 9-year guy out of Michigan State.
Richardson, far corner. Blazers making sure they know where he is. Here's Channing Frye. Shot clock at 5. Nash, baseline, tried to dish it. Rudy poked it away. Webster picks it up. Blazers need to push tempo now.
Yeah.
Lob, Rudy backdoor. Stoudemire grabbed it away.
It needed to be a little higher, the pass, but they are attacking.
Boy, how few lobs have we seen to Rudy this year as compared to last year when Sergio Rodriguez was here?
Yeah, they knew each other from many, many days on the playground in Spain.
Nash kicks it out to Fry. 3-pointer for Channing. Long again, off the mark. Fry is 0 for 5 in this game, following his 1 for 7 game in game 2. Miller, Rudy for 3, good.
Man, and the crowd really gets excited because that could be a weapon the Blazers really could use the rest of this series.
Back to 15. Stoudemire lost it, picked up by Webster.
See, the Blazers are letting the ball get in the low post and then
Rudy catch and shoot 3.
Yes!
Alvin Gentry wants time. Could it be?
Oh, still enough time. 6 minutes.
Rudy Fernandez has come to life, and he's brought his teammates with him. A flicker of hope remains. Still half the quarter remains. Ice cold tonight, gives it up. Nash with 4 to shoot. Lob backdoor. Stoudemire fouled by Miller. Andre Miller coming over to try and break it up. And nothing, no intent more there from Andre than breaking up the play.
But doing it the right way. Getting in there and sacrificing your body for the team. And Andre Miller won't back away from anybody. I'll tell you that right now. Someone should suggest to him that the NBA right now, as we speak, is checking out that elbow that he threw earlier against LaMarcus Aldridge.
Well, there will be plenty of time to follow up on that. I know that I'm sure there are people even now reviewing that because, and you know, again, if not for the Garnett elbow and suspension in game 1 of that series, here's Rudy for another 3. Oh. In again.
Man, where was that? Rudy, someone.
11-point game with 5:15 left.
He's starting to match Jason Richardson's 3-point shooting.
Nash double. Fry not looking to shoot. Richardson is. He's fouled baseline by Howard. Free throws coming. Again, Portland in the penalty and has been for the last few minutes. See, this is Rudy not hesitating. Where has this been?
Yeah, see, it's the same guy checking him, Nash. They've had Nash on him because they don't want Nash to work that hard. But with the Blazers setting picks for Rudy, getting some down picks, some curls, he's made 3 in a row now.
Again, just to finish the point on the, which we've made several times, on the Stoudemire elbow. If the Garnett elbow doesn't happen early in the playoffs, it probably isn't even considered a suspension.
Right.
But being you did give him the game and then compared an elbow to a punch.
Yeah.
And talked about it being a point of emphasis.
And it
once again,
it shouldn't matter.
Rudy a deep 3 off the mark. But hey, keep firing away.
Yeah, and you got to hit the offensive boards. They're not going to run it down that much, and even if they do, an up-tempo game isn't bad for the Blazers now.
Nash bothered out top. Fry.
Boy, he did look like he lifted his foot.
Nash fouled by Howell. Nash at the free throw line. He's already missed his free throw this month.
Yeah, Nash, not the guy to foul. Career-wise, he'll go to the Hall of Fame just on his foul shooting. Nothing else needs to be said.
94% during the regular season this year.
I know. It is amazing what this guy does at age 36. Keeps his body in shape. Won't play for the Canadian national team, but other than that, they love him.
What are you trying to say?
Hey,
you trying to stir it up?
Play for your country. Get tired during the summer, like the Americans.
Aldridge against Fry. Here comes that double. Rudy, Martell. Martell's got to take that. Takes it inside, looking for contact. He certainly got that. And the foul's going to be on Amari Stoudemire.
Well, I don't know what Nate can say to the team, but if he shows them the second half of this ball game tomorrow, they will see the difference in the intensity level of the third and fourth quarter versus the first and second quarter when the Blazers just kind of went through the motions.
Martell Webster 1 for 4 at the free throw line in this one.
Yeah.
Uncharacteristic.
Yeah, he's a shooter and he's
1 for 5. When you're making a comeback, you're trying to. Missed free throws are not going to get it done. Marcus Camby will check back in next dead ball. You don't want to foul Nash. Richardson for 3.
Well, I'll tell you.
42 for Jason Richardson. And that puts an end to the Blazer comeback and any hopes of rallying from 31 down in this one. Now the question is, what did Portland learn out of the comeback? Rudy Fernandez 3, his third straight, matter of fact. But since then, the Suns have answered as now the concerns turn to Nicholas Batum. Rebecca Harlow, what do you have on that?
Well, the news is very positive, Mike. I caught up with him in the back hallway just a couple minutes ago, and he said the shoulder injury isn't any worse at all. He said he just wasn't quite ready to come back tonight. He said he thinks he will be definitely ready to go on Saturday. In the meantime, he did get some treatment in the back, and then he said he wanted to be right back on the floor with his team. So positive news coming from Nick.
As LaMarcus Aldridge fouled, that is good news for Saturday. And, of course, a lot of the questions in the next day will turn to Brandon Roy's status. Not expected, certainly, for Game 4. Maybe not even for Game 5. But does Portland, falling on their home court tonight, expedite any efforts to return?
Well, that's one of the things they have to do right there. They've been double teaming LA all night long, and the Blazers really haven't been able to take advantage of it. That time they left Andre Miller, and he tried quite wisely an open three-pointer. You start moving the ball around. It's just their defense will catch up because no one was checking Andre. Usually he'll try to take it to the rim, but he knew Blazers needed a 3 worse than they did a 2.
Nash 4 of 5 at the line tonight already. That's an upset. But he missed the 1 and rattles in the first here. Strange that Phoenix, with 66 points on the board at halftime, just now going to get to the century mark, when it looked like they were well on their way to another 120, 129 like they had in game 2.
Well, no one's been able to really do a lot of damaging scoring wise except Jason Richardson. 13 for 19, and he's Aldridge 8 for 12.
2. Well, they say the old cliche, a playoff series doesn't really start until somebody wins on the other's home floor. That's happened now twice already in this series, and we're only in game 3. Channing Frye still can't hit. 0 for 6. That's really the only blemish on an otherwise very attractive stat sheet for the Phoenix Suns. Mari Stoudemire lays another one in. 20 points for him. So after getting 18 in game 1, 18 in game 2, Stoudemire 20 in game 3. Still not a huge part of things. His muscle and his aggressiveness certainly, but not his offense.
Yeah, it's Blazers don't double him simply because he catches it foul line extended.
Loose ball foul on Grant Hill. And now Jeff Pendergraft will check in. And Amari Stoudemire checking out. So if you were looking forward to that bout, it ain't going to happen tonight.
Yeah.
Patty Mills is going to have logged more minutes in the playoffs than he did in the regular season, simply because there's been a little garbage time in the last 2 games. Checks back in.
Well, the 2 veterans come out of the game. They did everything they could. Andre Miller with 11, and Marcus Camby, how many rebounds? 10 rebounds.
Well, Jason Richardson has set new Suns playoff records by going 8 for 12 in this game.
Yeah, from the 3-point line.
Yes, he has set new Suns records for attempts and makes. Dan Marley had the old record, and of course he's down on the Phoenix bench as an assistant coach. There is Dan. Thunder Dan. Yes, he was not. Maybe still is. I don't know.
I watched him shoot before the ball
still
game
can
a little
stroke
bit.
it.
He can still stroke it. He sure can.
As the Suns will have a day off in Portland tomorrow. Of course, both teams have a day off before Saturday's game 4. Channing Frye. Hey. Bill Kennedy and Joe DeRosa talking about that was on the line at 2. Joe DeRosa is going to look at it. The right foot was way inside.
Yeah, what is this review doesn't make any sense at all.
Hey, man.
They're 23
you
up.
You got to play it out
with 2 minutes to go. But look,
you tell your players to finish the game.
Yeah, but it's
there. It is.
I mean, it's clear on
right.
the line. It's not even close.
This is not an official stoppage, so Bill Kennedy making sure there's no substitutions. So Cunningham has to leave. Aldridge returns. All right, what do you expect? I mean, outside of the urgency and energy we saw from Portland during the comeback, what do you expect differently from Portland in game 4?
And that's all Nate's going to talk about. You know, the X's and O's, forget it. It's the urgency and the energy that this club has to come with, like they did in the second half. I mean, they're holding Phoenix under 20 points in both the third and fourth quarter. And they did that with energy. And
Rudy, and that's the one positive tonight is Rudy Fernandez has got it going. Granted, it was late. But better late than never, of course, as
And that shows you
Mills
how,
brings it across, or Dragic brings it on Mills.
what a thin line confidence is, even in the major leagues like the NBA, that you can lose it, get it back. You know, it shouldn't happen, but it does to even the best shooters. And Rudy's has proven that playing against Jason Kidd and the Olympic team, I mean, some of the best defenders were on Rudy Fernandez, and he was scoring with the Spanish team in the Olympics. And now all of a sudden to lose confidence like he has. Now, maybe he has it back now. Those 4 field goals maybe really will help the Blazer offense.
And Rudy leaves. Travis Diener checks in. So Fernandez 12 points on 4 of 8 shooting. All 4 being 3-pointers.
Well, without Brandon Roy, you know, if he's going to take Brandon's place, then they got to start setting some picks and looking for him. But he wasn't looking to score.
Foul on Collins. Well, Portland during the season, as fans around the country probably read in very small print the next day as an edition, Blazers have played very well without certain players from time to time this season. Of course, I think most people know about all of the injuries Portland has suffered this year. But usually in the games they have won without Brandon Roy, it's been somebody different on a night-by-night basis.
Yeah.
And they've been difficult to game plan against because you're never sure who will step up. Now, in a 7-game series, when you're seeing Portland game in and game out, I have to think the element of surprise, or at least confusion, is eliminated. Is that what makes it easier for Phoenix to hone in?
Absolutely. Without Brandon Roy, they can set their defenses to stop Andre Miller in L.A. And somebody else has to step up. No one really did step up except in Game 1. Nicholas Batum and Bayless stepped up. But in Game 2 and 3, they did.
1 minute left. Pendergraph against Channing Frye. And the Blazers, for the 2nd straight year, are going to drop their first game at home in the playoffs. Last year it was the Houston Rockets who did it much the same way, at least as far as the game pattern goes, as Phoenix did tonight. Getting out early, taking the crowd out of it. But, of course, the Blazers rebounded and won Game 2 behind 42 from Brandon Roy. That's the one luxury the Blazers don't have this year. Brandon averaged 27 points a game last year in the playoffs. And this will make the Trailblazers this season, including the playoffs, 9-11 in games without Brandon Roy. A reminder, stay tuned for more game analysis, interviews, and a live chat. Bob Akemi and Michael Holton on a live stream coming up on Trailblazers.com. That's where you can find the post-game show. But the Phoenix Suns have come to Portland and have won back home court advantage after they had it stripped away in Game 1. They have taken down the Trailblazers, and early on in dramatic fashion, leading by as many as 31 points. They take Game 2 and they take Game 3 after Portland drew first blood in Game 1. 108-89 behind 42 from Jason Richardson. The Suns come to the